Hey there, everyone. This is Samuel Johnson, and welcome back to the Lyoko Retrospectives. And today we're going to be discussing episode 9 of Code Lyoko Satellite. And I really don't know what else to say except that Xana hijacks the Wi Fi, sort of. Pretty much what's going on is that in the beginning of the episode, for some reason, all the Cadec students' cell phones go off at the same time with nobody on the other end. And for some dumb reason, all the students pick up and answer their phones right in the middle of class, which is a really dumb decision because, well, it leads to the students having to, it leads to all the students cell phones getting confiscated because that's a policy that schools have. No cell phones in class. It's a rule. Though for some reason in Caddick, if you're caught with your cell phone in class, it just means that you lose it permanently. And for some reason, the principal thinks that this is grounds for them just disconnecting their wireless tower. That's a dick move. Though to be fair, the fact that every single student picked up and answered their phones in the middle of class is just like giving the middle finger to your teacher, I suspect. So yeah, this action leads to Sissy organizing a student protest as she thinks it's not fair that they all are just losing their cell phones, which again, it kind of makes you wonder why they just took their cell phones at all. And I understand maybe keeping them for maybe a day, maybe a couple days tops. These tops, especially if they all just picked them up and answered them in the middle of class like that. But the fact that he's just saying, we gotta disconnect the tower is, yeah, though to be fair, Sissy's protest doesn't go well that either, as when she gets all the students to sign the petition, her dad doesn't, just pretty much brushes this off and says, oh, whatever. Just saying, oh, that's just ridiculous. Go back to class. Students don't make the rules. And so the students just even further protest by refusing to go to class until they get their cell phones back. Which, honestly, I'm sorry I'm talking about this all right now, but the cell phone plot's this whole subplot's just kind of a little dumb because it just keeps escalating and it doesn't feel like it should be. Like they're saying, we're not going to class till we get our cell phones back. No class without cell phones. Our cell phones are our lives. To be fair, all millennials probably think like that, of which I am probably one of them. So, but anyway, even the principal's just not taking this seriously and not even trying to come to a compromise on this either. So it's just kind of all around. Everybody's an idiot. But how this ties into everything is that the Lyoko kids start wondering why exactly they suspect that Xana's responsible for this, which, yeah, that's a good guess, because it's all your cell phones going off at once in the middle of class and no one on the other end, and that's pretty suspicious activity. As such, after Odd manages to break into the teacher's dormitory and steal back their cell phones, Jeremy, of course, does a scan of Lyoko, and sure enough, yeah, Xana's up to something. As all their cell phones have the Xana emblem on them, and there's a tower activated in the polar region. As such, they go to act. As such, the student. As such, Yumi goes up. As such, the group kind of splits up with Jeremy, Odd, and Ulrich going to the wireless tower to figure out what Xana wants with all their cell phones, while Yumi goes to join the protest. Though I think she goes to join the protest. Because she actually did kind of believe in Sissy's cause and even wanted to sign the petition. But however, when Odd, Ulrich, and Jeremy get there, they find Jim there trying to disconnect the tower. Only when he tries pulling the plug, he gets zapped. He gets shocked for his troubles and almost falls off the building. The group manages to grab him and bring him to the infirmary before anything goes wrong. But Jeremy decides to but while Odd and Ulrich Odd and Ulrich are the ones that bring him to the infirmary. Jeremy actually stays behind to check the tower and see what Xana's planning, and he figures out that Xana's actually hacking the tower. That the tower is actually a midway point, so to speak. After Jeremy studies, he actually and after he calls the group back together, he reveals what Xana's plan is, and what pretty much the tower is a stepping stone, to say the least. It's just a stepping stone. His real goal is he's using it to try and get to a TV broadcasting dish, and just like with the tower, And from there he wants to gain, and from there he wants to gain access to the satellites in orbit around Earth until he can find one that's operated by the military. Jeremy's And later on in the episode, Jeremy is able to pinpoint which satellite up there would be the most volatile and useful to XANA, and he manages to find a satellite that's equipped with a laser. So if XANA gets his hands on that, it could lead to widespread destruction. As a result, the group decides they have to go into Lyoko, and they've managed to find that the tower is in the polar region. So, as such, Odd and Ulrich go to the factory. Odd, Ulrich, and Jeremy go to the factory with Odd's dog Kiwi coming along because he didn't want to stay in the room. While Yumi goes to Sissy's protest because they figure that because they want to try and be sure that there are no XANA attacks. As such, Odd, Jeremy, and Ulrich manage to get into the factory, and Ulrich go into Lyoko while Jeremy stays in the goes back to his computer console. As such, they go in and they do manage to try and track down the tower to this one region, and of course it's being surrounded by those wasps from the last episode, or in this case, the episode calls them waspsters, I think. While Odd is able to hold them off while Ulrich and Eileen make a run for the tower, unfortunately they can't seem to find it. It's sort of like when you're told that it's kind of like when you're playing a 3D game that's free roam, and then you're told your next goal is here, but even when you go to that location, it's probably like a layer down or something. You go to a location, but you're on a hill. It turns out that where you should have been going is a cave that's under the hill. So that actually is what's going on. As Aelita figures out later that the tower is actually in a cavern that's actually underneath where they're standing. But in the time it takes her to figure that out, the waspsters manage to devirtualize Odd while Ulrich fends off the waspsters so Aelita can look for the tower. In the meantime, though, as they're doing this, XANA manages to finally gain control of the satellite that shoots the lasers, and Jeremy is actually able to find out where the satellite. And Jeremy, through the supercomputer, and I'm guessing because it's connected to XANA, he can see what he's doing. He's seeing where it's targeting. The thing is, their original suspicions that XANA was going to hit the school first with this laser, because odds are XANA's trying to get revenge on the Lyoko. Is going to try and get two birds with one stone here. He's going to try and take out the Lyoko kids first. But they're only kind of right. It's not the school that XANA's aiming for. It's Yumi specifically. And I'm not saying it's just going in that. It's not going in that general direction. No, the laser actually pinpoint finds Yumi while she's with the protest group, and actually aims for her. It's actually kind of nice in a way, in a sadistic way, and makes sense. And actually kind of makes sense. And you gotta give credit to XANA. He's focused on what he wants, and I'm guessing he wants to make sure he gets these kids. As such, Jeremy manages to write a lesson. Jeremy managed to earlier warn Yumi about the laser by giving a note to Kiwi and sending Kiwi back to the school. And when Yumi got it, she tries to get the kids off the school grounds just in case that XANA hits the school first. But once Odd's devirtualized, then Jeremy figures out that XANA's aiming for Yumi, not the school. He sends Odd out to get her, and once Odd gets there and he tells Yumi what's going on, XANA makes his move. As they're running away, he shoots at them, and they just barely manage to get out of the way as XANA makes a crater where everyone's standing. And the students, not being idiots, do actually realize the danger. Because actually, to be fair, they do get an order from the principal because Yumi wanted to try and spread their protest to other schools and try to get them out, and the principal got in their way. But the instant he sees the danger, he's just like, everyone get inside, and pretty much it's just them. As such, it's now Yumi and Odd just trying to make sure they get away from this laser. But thankfully, Aelita does manage to find the tower, and just before the laser can hit Yumi, Aelita goes into the tower and deactivates it, which causes the laser to freeze, because that's how things work with XANA, I guess. And it causes time to reverse, and the episode ends with the kids putting up posters of Posters reminding people if you don't turn off your cell phones, they'll get confiscated. So overall, I like the episode. It's admitted like I think first off, again, let's go back to the protest subplot. It is so dumb. It is so dumb, but it's kind of funny. But it's kind of the so bad it's good kind of dumb. Like, it is just kind of funny the extremes it goes to. Like, the policy in itself makes sense. You can't have your students being disrupted by their cell phones, and I think it would make sense to at least take a cell phone. But I think it's just the idea of the principal going to the extremes he would. And again, to be fair, all the students answered their cell phones in the middle of class. So maybe that's like, so you could easily make the argument that maybe, and the fact that they all answered them, so it could easily be that it's just like a sign of disrespect to all the teachers. But this just makes me wonder why their phones were on at all and why they chose to answer them. If it were me in there, I would have turned my phone into silent, left it in my bag or pocket or whatever, and then just ignored it until class was over. But no, they all just picked up their phones and answered them. But yeah, even then, it still kind of feels weird. The principal's going to the extremes, like saying we gotta disconnect the tower. That way, if they get new phones, and yada yada. I would expect that they would get at least. Look, again, it makes sense for them for their phones to be confiscated. And at a school that offers dormitories, I think it would make sense to at least maybe keep their cell phones away from them like a day, 2 tops. But the fact that he wants to disconnect the tower, it's just kind of like he's acting like this is a big problem. And again, I'm probably just coming at this from that student mindset, because I do remember what it was like to be a kid, and when I was a teenager, and I don't go anywhere without my cell phone. So if someone tried to take it away from me, I would be in a mood. So, but at the same time, again, it just kind of feels like an extreme. But then, to be fair, his daughter kind of goes to extremes too. She treats this like it's a real big problem. Like, they can't live without their cell phones, so both, it just kind of pushes both sides to extremes that really they shouldn't be going to. Like, when Sissy gives her father the petition to get their cell phones back, he just treats it as outrageous and just kind of ignores it. And then which leads Sissy to go on a protest and not go to class, and leads him to try and double down even more, which in turn causes them to go even further, which causes them to get angry. It just gets so dumb. It just kind of feels like it's just both. It just kind of feels like they're all stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they're not really making any progress either way. It's just sort of dumb. The only time that I actually see the principal kind of not do this is when during the episode, during the quote unquote protest, when Jeremy sent Kiwi back to give Yumi the message about XANA and the laser. And the laser, he takes Yumi away, of course, angry that the dogs are on the school ground, because again, those aren't allowed. But Odd brings his dog with him anyway. But he actually does sit down with her and say, "I don't understand why you're doing this. You're such a model student." And then when Yumi runs out, so that was like the only time. But even then, it still feels weird that he doesn't tell her to just sit back down, especially sit back down after she reads the message and runs off. And again, I would expect her to still run off, but he doesn't even make an attempt to stop her. It's just like, sorry, I have to go. Gotta go, and you should too. And it's just like, it's just kind of weird. But that being so, but again, it's sort of the fun kind of stupid in a way. Like, it's just so stupid and fun to watch, and really it's just kind of amusing to see. And again, it's another example of Sissy being more than just that standard bitch, as she does kind of sit down and want to talk with Yumi actually kind of be on a level ground with Yumi, even if she does throw shade at her for not being there when they're signing their petition. So whatever. But with that being said, the other aspect of this episode I liked, XANA's plan. Again, when I watched this episode, it kind of hit me about something about XANA's plan so far. They've usually gone to XANA's plans have usually had one of two goals. Either he either does something that will cause widespread death and destruction, like when he was storing up electricity to release on a nuclear plant that would cause the fallout, or he goes after the Lyoko kids directly, like when he created the false Yumi to try and sabotage the virtualization program, or when he took control of the alien monster from last episode. So, and this however, there are times when it can be a mix of both, like for this episode, because it does really show. Because again, it does show that XANA is probably, it's because it's a very precise plan, and I actually kind of like that it's very precise, just how precise it is, because because it also kind of gives you another window into XANA's personality. He's a vengeful bastard, because I like that he doesn't actually again, it's actually smart thinking on the villain's part. He not only picked a tower that was hidden away that they couldn't find, but he just aims directly for Yumi. He's not like going for where she would frequent. No, he aims directly for her. It is actually kind of dark, but it actually makes sense. And it does once again show more of that personality. That again, I like Xana as a faceless, but one thing I will comment the show for, what we do see as Xana is a sadistic, vengeful, and a sadistic, vengeful, and twisted individual that doesn't fully understand the human animal, but definitely does know us. He knows he takes joy, like we saw in the false Yumi episode. He does have a sense of Schadenfreude when he messes with people and sabotages them. And in this case, the fact that he hijacks this government satellite, and his first goal isn't to just destroy a widespread population in a place that the kids may be. No, it's the kids themselves, specifically Yumi. It's actually kind of, it shows just how angry this guy is, and how much this computer can hold a grudge. It's actually really nice. And again, you can make the argument that Teddy Godzilla the first episode did the same thing with the giant teddy bear going after Ulrich, but again, that was a giant monster. You can really cause a lot of destruction with that. But the fact that he took control of this satellite and his first target was them, it wasn't just like aiming around them, but no, just first target them. Again, it's actually kind of it's just dark, and it works. I actually kind of like that. It also creates a very big sense of urgency, as it means that doesn't matter where Yumi could go, this thing, as long as they're out in the open, that thing can get them. And it's just really like the fact that XANA went to all this effort just to get this weapon that he's just gonna aim right. That he's not taking any chances here. He's actually he's aiming right for them. And again, that also raise an example of another strength that XANA has. He does know what he wants, which I already said. He does seem to be precise with his goals. He knows what he's after, and every plan does seem to have something in mind. Either kill these kids, and actually, there's actually sort of a nice flow. And actually, now that I think about it, there does seem to be a nice flow to his plan so far. Like it's like in the beginning we had the giant teddy bear, of course, that went after Ulrich, but that can raise too many heads when you see a giant teddy bear going around, especially when it did attack other people. And yeah, it did go after Ulrich because, well, he was one of the people that was getting in Xana's way. But then as the episodes went on, we did see more and more of Xana's attempts to go after the kids, like releasing the gas in the school. You could make the argument that was him trying to go after the kids, and the rest of it was a side effect. Same with the bus, more general destruction, but then you saw general destruction, but the Lyoko kids were on board, and he made it. And after Odd got off the bus, XANA made it almost impossible for them to get off without hurting themselves. So it kind of shows that there is logic to this guy, or the virus, or this AI, whatever. And as the episodes go on, you do see that the XANA is taking a more active attempt to go after the group. From when he sent a mole in with Yumi to attacking the monster. Hell, when he even attacked his own factory which still brought up the whole idea of the timing of that, along with when they got the devirtualization program. It shows that XANA is actually learning and is trying to get more precise methods. And the fact that he did go through so much effort to get this satellite just so that he could aim directly for them shows just how determined he is to end these kids. And it does offer another window at his personality. And while again I would worry about him no longer being the faceless, the personality we are seeing is of somebody that you really should be afraid of. Someone with this so much power and so much hatred that he wants to see people suffer, and that he went to the effort of taking control of these satellites just so he could go after these kids. That's determination right there. Real strong determination. I actually like that. it does, again, it shows the character's personality without us having to see the character, just by how far they're willing to go for this one, just for this one goal, and it's actually really nice. So again, I think that's another compliment I'll give this episode. It offers us another window into XANA's personality, and that personality is cold, sadistic, determined, unfeeling, except possibly for a sense of Schadenfreude, which he could get from, but he then could get from just this little acts of suffering, which is the standard villain stuff. But again, I like that. So yeah, on the whole, I do. So yeah, on the whole, I actually like the episode. The real world plot with the protests and the cell phones is stupid, but it's an entertaining kind of stupid. And the plot and the actual end goal for XANA's plan here actually does help establish just help establish further more of XANA's personality, which I like. And it's a good personality, and I like that. So yeah, on the whole, good episode. I liked it a lot. So yeah, really good. That's all. So thank you for watching, everybody. I'm Samuel Johnson, and I'll see you next week. Take care.